I am so sick of not having money. And I know everybody, oh, why are you crying? Why are you crying about this on the internet? I'm panicking, that's why. And I don't know who else to talk to. Everybody's... I swear, I will never be this broke again. I'm 31 years old and I'm still struggling. This is so stupid. I swear, this is the last month of my life being this broke. I'm so done. I'll never be this broke again, I promise. This is it. I hate this. And then I put so much value on myself around how much money I have in my bank account, and I hate that too.
I'm telling you, being broke is no joke, okay? Hey, Rych Babes, it's your girl, Dyor. Today, we're going to talk about money trauma. Money trauma is the anxiety, stress, and deep emotional wounds that form around your relationship with money. Maybe you grew up in a household where money was scarce, or the experience of financial struggles as an adult that left you feeling powerless. Money trauma isn't just about lacking money. It's the fear, the guilt, the shame that comes with how you've been conditioned to think about it. So for some of us, it's even deeper. A sense of worthiness tied to how much we've earned, or a fear of spending because we don't know when the next dollar is going to come in. These beliefs can stick with us and stop us from building the financial life that we deserve. So here's how money trauma shows up in our life. Number one, you're overspending by buying things you just don't need. Maybe you're underspending, being terrified to spend even when you can afford it because you're afraid of just going broke. Number three is avoidance, refusing to look at your bank account or bills because you're just too stressed out. Number four is guilt. Are you feeling guilty, like you don't deserve nice things or a life of abundance because of your past financial mistakes? And number five is the fear of success, sabotaging your own progress because you're not used to financial stability. Rych babes, we're not rich just because of our mindset. We're rich because of our bank accounts too. And because of that, we need to make sure that we are thinking clearly and positive about money. Yes, we've all came from a background that just might not be the best when it comes to money. But now that we are older, we can learn something new so that way moving forward, our finances can increase. You are going to have to change the way you look and feel about money. Money is a tool. Money gives you options. Okay, and it's all about the person who controls the money that brings an outcome of either good or bad. So we cannot say that money is evil. Money is not evil. It's what the person does with the money that makes the outcome evil. All right, Rych babes, let's go ahead and get started with this video. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. I love you all. Thank you so much for always continuing to support this channel. Make sure that you comment down below your thoughts on this video, your experiences, your tips on money trauma, money blocks, and how to heal from it, or any other experiences or opinions related to this topic. All right, Rych babes, I will not be back at the end of this video. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Some of you are not subscribed. Please make sure that you subscribe. It helps build this channel. Make sure that you like this video. It helps build this channel. Love you all, and I will see you again next time.
So this just dawned on me that the fact that the number 8 is connected to both money and to trauma and also generational things. Follow me, follow me. Now, I already know that numbers are passed down, numerologically speaking, generation to generation. So, for example, you might be like a life path number 1, but your parents are life path number 2, and your other parents are life path number 3. That's a numerological pattern. We love those. But the thing that a lot of people miss is the fact that numbers are connected to literally fucking everything. And a lot of people talk about money trauma and like doing the energy work and the shadow work behind it, which I completely recommend. Like, I'm not discrediting any of that at all. But there's also a way to see it very clearly on a numerological side. Now, this is something that I help my clients and my mentees work through, but when you're talking about money trauma in specific for you, there's specific techniques and numbers that you can look for in your own personal numerology to help you work through it better. I want to make a longer video about this, but if you actually want me to talk about this, let me.
Money trauma is the emotional and psychological impact that past experiences with money can have on an individual's current financial situation. One huge way that money trauma affects your current money situation is by creating a scarcity mindset. When you have a scarcity mindset, you constantly feel that you lack money and you struggle to meet your financial needs. If this sounds like you, don't worry. I got you. We in this together. What are the signs that you may be suffering from money trauma? One is financial avoidance.
Financial avoidance can look like avoiding to look at the bills, avoiding to talk to the bookkeeper, or avoiding to talk about money altogether. Have you heard about the fight, flight, and freeze response? This is a little bit about the freeze response, and at its worst case, is a dissociation from anything regarding finances. Two is overspending or compulsive spending. This could look like spending on major purchases with money you don't have, eating out a lot, or just buying out of boredom. 3. Underspending. Severe lack of spending, even when money is available, can also be a sign of financial trauma. It correlates to the mindset of fear and scarcity around money. This is when a lot of people say, I'm worried that money is always running out, or I'm never going to have enough money. 4 is the lack of boundaries. It could look like a lack of financial boundaries with friends and family, not making clear payment terms on contracts, undercharging, or under-earning.
I just realized something. I still have limiting beliefs about money.
I grew up in the orchestra. From the 2nd grade through the 8th grade, I played the viola. I am a classically trained violist. And I went to performing arts school, so we would travel around the county, around the state, and compete in different music competitions. Once a year, we would go to like the big field trip where we would take a bus to another state and compete. So the first 2 out of the 3 middle school years, I never asked my parents if I could go. I never asked because I'm the youngest of 6, and I felt like, they wouldn't have extra money to spend on me to go to Florida, or I think the other trip was somewhere else. I can't remember, maybe New York. So New York and Florida, I was like, that's too much for them. I felt like it was better for me to never tell my parents about the field trip than to bring it up and let them tell me that I couldn't afford it, and having to tell my friends that I couldn't afford to go on the trip, even though everyone else was. And even further, they used to have like the selling the candy or whatever, and you could sell candy so you could get on the trip. And I didn't want to do that either, because I was like, I'll let everyone else know that I don't have enough money to do it. Only the lame kids or the kids that didn't have the money would be selling the candy. In 8th grade, we were going to Atlanta, Georgia. And 8th grade was the last time, I'm like, this is the last hurrah. This is the last time I'm going to be with my friends. I want to go to Georgia. I want to go to Atlanta and go on this field trip. Also, side note, I knew that my daddy couldn't come, and my dad went with me on all of my field trips. So this was also the first time that my dad didn't go on a field trip with me. Like I knew, my mom would not let me sell the candy. She hated the having to sell the candy because it made us look like beggars, and I didn't want to be a beggar, and she was 1,000% not going to make me look like a beggar. That also comes up in how I think about business, but that's a story for another day. I end up going on the trip. My mom pulled together, and I forged her signature to sell a couple boxes of candy at school. So I think the trip was probably $1,000, if that, maybe closer to $700. But I just remember, again, just feeling terrible. And even when my mom gave me the spending money, I was like, I need to make sure I have some money to come back with. It was the greatest trip ever. I had so much fun with my friends and competing. But financial trauma shows up in so many different ways in our adulthood that you can never imagine. You're never really healed from it, but you can find coping strategies. And it's okay.
Did you know not paying your bills on time is a trauma response? We are not taught that toxicity, the trauma, can also extend into our ability to pay bills on time. Because in delaying paying the bill, seeing that money sitting in your bank account makes you feel like, man, I'm doing it. But you ain't doing it because the bill ain't paid and your light's about to get cut off. So I just wanted to share with y'all, as you're walking through your healing journey, as you are looking and saying, okay, who am I really? Don't forget to look at who you are concerning your money. Think of money as a person that is waiting for you to get your together so that you all can have an amazing relationship. Tell me what you think.
Childhood trauma or trauma in general can actually impact your relationship with your money more than you imagine. Here are a few ways that I see trauma impacting people's relationship with their money. They're avoidant. They're afraid to look at the number in their bank account, and so they avoid it. Setting a goal for revenue and saying, when I reach this number, then I'll be okay. Reaching that number and still not getting the relief, security, or safety that you were looking for. Never connecting with the feeling of enough. You're always wanting more. Or more heartbreaking than that is the disbelief that you are worthy in investing in. I'm Nicole, the business therapist. Follow me for more content like this.
Financial trauma is often overlooked, but could be what's standing between you and generational wealth. So let's take a moment to define what it is, how you can identify if you're suffering from it, and what you can do about it. Financial trauma is the culmination of your lived experiences as they pertain to money. And like other traumas, they often have roots in the way that we experienced our childhood. So for the folks that grew up in households where their power or their gas was often turned off, that isn't a normal experience. Or there just wasn't much food in the house, because I was an adult when I realized that I wasn't eating fried bologna sandwiches because they were just delicious. It was because we didn't have any money. Then those childhood experiences, they manipulate how, as an adult, you respond to money. And that can create that financial trauma. And there's a few ways to figure out if you're being affected by this. The first is, do you feel uncomfortable talking about money in the first place? Do conversations about money bring you anxiety or make you feel insecure? Have you ever wondered if you were overspending or otherwise living above your means? And here's one that's the real sleeper: underspending. There are people out there that are deathly afraid of running out of money, and this goes beyond being frugal. And these people could be operating out of a scarcity mindset, and in essence, avoiding spending money sometimes on things that they actually need, like making a repair to their home, because they're waiting for the next shoe to drop. And the last one is adequate boundaries. Do friends and family often come to you for money, and you help them even though you may not be in the position to do so? Or you may be in the position, but you just want to spend your money somewhere else. And for some of you, that could be a real issue, because you could be the most successful person in your family. So people come to you for help. And those people could take advantage of you, making you feel that if you really loved or cared about them, you'd be doing everything you could to help them in their situation. And I should add that in the United States, financial trauma and generational poverty most acutely impact Black Americans. And that's not race baiting. Those numbers come from a 2021 Brookings Institute report. Nevertheless, it's important for all of us to consider whether or not we're being impacted by financial trauma, because we'd hate to pass it on to our next generations and triggering generational poverty. And if you suspect that you have an issue, there's a few things that you can do. First, you can talk to a financial therapist. Yes, financial therapy is real. Second, you can take steps to improve your own financial literacy. And third, you can hire a financial advisor. But what do you all think about financial trauma and generational poverty? What reasonable steps do you think people can take to solve this problem? And if you like this sort of content, like and follow for more.
When I was growing up, what I used to hear and believe about money was that money is evil, rich people are evil, money does not grow on trees. So I grew up listening to that idea, to that thought, to those words consistently, that it made in me have a negative relationship with money. Because years ago, I used to even feel guilty for treating myself with money, right? I used to believe and think that rich people are evil. I used to believe that, of course, I cannot make money. Of course, I cannot be abundant, because why will money come to me? It wasn't until I started working on my relationship with money that I actually started seeing money come into my life abundantly and consistently. And something that shocked me, it was when I went to the bank to withdraw for the first time portion of the amount of money I have raised. It was around, I think, $7,000. When I had that money in my hands, I was like, wow. Years ago, I would be saying myself that, oh, I don't deserve this money is not mine, why do I have it, did I work so hard to receive it? I will do the impossible just to reject the idea that I can have money. But until I make sure I work on me, on my emotions, on my thoughts, on my spirit, on my psychology with money, because maybe the reason why you are not making the money you want to make is because you have a bad relationship with money. Maybe you're not receiving all the millions and trillions you want to receive is because psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, your relationship with money is bad. It was my case, and I'm not ashamed of saying it. But it was when I started working on myself so I can heal my trauma that I had around money, so I can overcome the bondage, so I can overcome the chains and the false ideas and the false belief I had around money. It wasn't until I worked on my relationship with money that I started receiving money. Because now you see me making videos saying, I'm abundant, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, money flows to me. Years ago, I wasn't able to say none of that about money. I was like, oh no, I don't deserve money. Oh, I can't make this amount of money. Who am I to have millions? But I had to work on me. I had to work on my mental. And once my relationship with money became positive, and now I started working on me so I can feel that I deserve money. And now money is flowing to me. Why? Because my relationship with money got better. And I'm not saying this just to brag or to show that, hey, I'm receiving donations so I have the money. No. It's to maybe there is somebody else out there that is wondering, why are you not making money? Why are you not rich? Why are you not wealthy? Maybe the answer is that you have the wrong relationship with money. Maybe the answer is that you have the wrong idea around money. Because if you believe money is evil, it's not going to come to you. If you believe rich people are evil, you can become rich. So you have to make sure you change your conception, you change your idea, you change your relationship with money. See yourself as somebody who's rich, as somebody who deserves money, as somebody who generates money, as somebody that money loves, as somebody that money serves. And when I was working on that, Bible verses helped me. Listening to audiobooks helped me. Some books helped me. So if you are working on healing your money traumas, let me know in the comments, and I can provide to you some scriptures for that. But yeah, I had to work on my psychological and my mental aspects around money and delete all the lies, all the negative ideas and definitions I grew up believing about money. Like money is evil. Money is not evil. Lack of money is evil. Talking about rich people are evil. Rich people are not evil. Rich people, I can learn from them. I can get inspired by them. Because if I want to make the money they make, there is no point of me putting them down or being envious of them. I prefer to read, to learn from rich people than to put them down. I am money. I look like money. Money comes to me every day. I deserve money. I deserve all the richness and goodness of this life. And so are you.
Who's ready to heal some money trauma? This is part 2. Part 1 is on my page. Click the plus, go back, check that out, and stay around for part 3. So now we know that money trauma is an emotional response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event that surrounds money. But this event doesn't have to be something like you homeless on the streets. It could be as simple as watching your parents argue about money as a young child. Or listening to your grandparents constantly say that money doesn't grow on trees and you can only spend it once. Arguments around money focus on scarcity, lack, and limitation, and these types of phrases can dramatically alter your beliefs around managing, making, and manifesting money. And the problem with that is beliefs drive your entire life experience. If you have wounded beliefs around money, how do you think your experience with money is going to be? Follow along, we'll keep healing this trauma and those wounded beliefs.
You've heard about childhood traumas, right? But I bet you haven't heard of money traumas. When you spend money, do you feel excited, grateful, happy, and joy? Or do you feel scared, angry, shy, or shame about it? You see, money traumas are the emotional relationships that we have with money. And many of us have these negative emotions towards this entity called wealth, and no wonder it's hard to make it, keep it, and spend it. Guys, work on your money traumas. Heal the emotional relationship that you have with money so that it could be closer to you as your friend.
Hey sis, this is for you if you struggle with money wounds. Now these are those wounds that we have related to how we spend our money, but also whether or not we believe ourselves to be deserving of abundance. This is also connected to scarcity thinking. I don't know about you, but I know many of us have grown up in homes where we never really learned how to handle our money. We never really learned financial literacy, and we also never learned that we are deserving of more. It wasn't until I was a grown person that I actually saw that there were people who live in abundance and that it's something that's accessible to us. I felt like, and I even call myself a minimalism. I'm like, I don't need too much. And it wasn't just that I was humble. I really didn't believe deep down that I was deserving of that. And so what I want to call you toward is abundances. And the way that you can start creating space for that is, one, get clear about what is it that you really need to live the life that you deeply desire. How much money do you need to do that? And then I want you to start to investigate and take inventory of your spending habits. Honey, I love to eat out. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm realizing that I may need to go out and get groceries or make meals at home more so that I can really create opportunities for me to save, be generous, and also call in more money, because God sees that, okay, she knows how to handle the money she has. I'm gonna give her more. So being good stewards of our money, but also calling in the fact that we deserve abundance. Babe, you deserve abundance. Create space for that today and start to release that money wound by shifting your practices and also your belief systems.
Money trauma is not just about not having enough money or having financial problems. Money trauma can also be the result of past experiences or beliefs about money that shape our attitude or behaviors around it. Some examples are growing up in a household where money was a source of conflict or stress, experiencing financial abuse or manipulation from a partner or family member, feelings of not being good enough, not being good with money, that you'll never be able to get ahead financially, being told you're not worthy or deserving of financial success. These kinds of experiences and beliefs can lead to negative patterns around money. Things like overspending, avoiding your bills, failing to plan for the future, and feeling overwhelmed and anxious about your financial situation. These scenarios from our past and these situations, they create our beliefs, and we know that our beliefs create our thoughts, and our thoughts create our actions. So while it may be easy to think that your financial problems are simply a math problem or they could be solved by something like budgeting, the reality is you need to get to the muck beneath the surface. You need to challenge and rewrite those beliefs once you acknowledge them, to be able to set yourself up on a solid financial foundation so that when you do learn the $1 million tactic like investing, paying off your debt, how to save money, how to negotiate, that stuff actually works. This different approach to money is why our students have had such massive successes. If you want to change your relationship with money, if you want to save more, make more, invest more without a budget, without working harder, then I'm your girl. Check our link in bio to get started.
So these are 5 signs you're suffering from financial trauma. It's important to me that you understand this because financial trauma is tricky. It refers to the psychological and emotional distress caused by negative experiences or events related to money. It can result from growing up in financial fear like me, bankruptcy, foreclosure, job loss, or overwhelming debt. This trauma can lead to feelings of shame, anxiety, and stress. I know I've had them all. So please look for these 5 signs to see if you suffer from financial trauma. 1, suffocating under the weight of chronic financial anxiety, constantly plagued by destructive behaviors like overspending and avoidance. Trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts about money. 3, a heightened physical stress of perhaps social outings for fear of spending money. 4, believing your limiting lies about money. And 5, you're driven to isolate from relationships, either in a desperate attempt to save money or due to shame. We cannot change the immediate facts of your finances, but we can change your reactions to them and help you break free of a vicious cycle. I needed to really start to connect my emotions to my money behavior so that I can begin to separate my reactivity from proactive and thoughtful choices. I hope this helps you out and you have a good one.
What if I told you that saving all of your money and never spending is the same thing as spending it all? So that's what we call a poverty mindset, a lack mindset, if you will. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been on the end where my wallet has a hole in that bitch and I just don't know when to stop. Like the spending is controlling me. Like I literally can't control myself spending. And I've been on the other side of it when as soon as I get a check, I sometimes don't even want to go to the grocery store because I know as soon as I go get food, that's going to be $150 off the hip just for food for a week. So I've been on both ends and coming to the realization that I've been on both ends. It's 2 ends of the same coin. It's the exact same thing, just flipped on its head. Because if you're scared to use money, it's because you don't feel like you deserve a lot of money. It's the same thing as somebody spending all of their money because they don't feel like they deserve it. So they're subconsciously going to spend it because they don't feel like they deserve to keep it. It's the same thing with your energy. Because if you think about the relationship you have with money, what's your relationship with your energy? Are you giving your energy to things that don't deserve it? Like people, places, jobs, things, activities that you do, habits, mindsets? Because it's probably a good chance that you do. It's probably a good chance your relationship with yourself isn't a very healthy one to the point where your relationship with money is just a reflection of your inner relationship. And that's definitely what I'm working on too. So you're not alone. you're definitely not alone, because that's the majority of people, especially people our generation, because we're breaking all these generational curses and everything. But at the same time, life is hard. Money costs shit. Everything costs money, a lot of money, the most money it ever has. We're not used to that. So we have to understand what our relationship is with ourselves, so that way we can better ourselves without being scared of it. We can't run away from it, because you saving money is the same thing as you spending money. And either way it goes, it's a lack mindset.
It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you want to have. You need to take care of your money trauma first. What's your attitude and your approach to money? That's the most important thing, not how much is in your bank account. Money in the bank does not make you rich. Only when you get to a point where you feel secure in the fact that money will always be available to you when you need it, that is when you are rich. That is the basis for avoiding doing what a lot of celebrities and lottery winners have done, which is come into a whole bunch of money and then either develop some really horrible stuff or go bankrupt. And that's not to play into negative beliefs around money. More money does not equal more problems. Having an unhealthy relationship to money does. Clients who I've worked with on releasing their trauma around money and developing a healthy narrative, a healthy relationship with money, they have crazy amazing results. So start asking yourself, what does money mean for you? Start there. And don't forget to like and follow my page for more financial wellness tips.
One thing I wish I learned sooner as I started healing from financial trauma and starting to manifest more money through my business is that you have to train yourself how to feel safe. If you've been stuck in survival mode for a while, you need to start to train yourself how to feel safe and good receiving money and spending money. Because you'll start getting money and earning money, but you'll still feel the same. So you're like, oh, is this not working? Am I not growing? No, because you consciously have to train yourself. You're like, I feel good. I feel safe. And start practicing and trying to imagine how that feels. Asking yourself, how does this feel? Try to move it. Try to remember the last time you felt safe and tapping into that when it comes to money. And then soon you're no longer going to be clenching your booty cheeks when they swipe your card at Target.
Right now I'm reading Financial Feminist, and she talks about the money beliefs and how those money beliefs will affect you in the long term. Now she starts out talking about money habits and how our money habits are learned by the age of 7 years old. So there are 4 different categories that are broken down by a psychologist that studies people's beliefs about money. So the first is money avoiders, and these are people that think that people with a lot of money are greedy, are mean, are corrupt, and they have a lot of pride from living off of virtually very little amount of money. Ironically, these people do want to be wealthy, but because they believe that wealthy people are inherently bad, they end up not having money in the long term. And this is because they think that having money makes them less relatable. So they may believe that they won't be able to connect with their friends and family the same, or just with the everyday person. So they start to repel money in a way that they spend it. So this money category is highly associated with being lower income, lower net worth, and very destructive financial behaviors. Now, the second type is money worship. These are the people that love the wealthy, but they think that having more stuff will solve their problems. So these are typically frivolous spenders that will buy things because they think that it will solve their problems immediately, and by having that thing, they will not have that problem anymore. Now, this often leads to people that are in a lot of credit card debt. They have less income typically, and typically less net worth. The third type is money status. So these are the people that are keeping up with the Joneses. They think that they need to buy everything brand new. They cannot buy anything used. If people ask them how much they make, they typically lie and say that it is more than what it actually is. So the people that are most vulnerable to this type of money belief typically come from a lower socioeconomic background. Now, the fourth type are people that are money vigilant. So these are people that feel good when they have money saved in a bank account for an emergency, or if someone asks them how much money they make, they typically lie about it and say that it is lower than what they actually make. And these people are typically higher net worth and make smarter financial long-term decisions. So like I said in the beginning, these beliefs come from when you are a child. So about the age of 7 years old. And it's learned by hearing conversations from family members, parents, people around you, etc. So an example of this would be if you are a child and you see your parents arguing about money, but you have a lot of money, and then you go to your friend's house who they don't have as much money, but they're really good at communicating, then you start to inherently believe that money causes distress or conflict in some way. So in your adult life, you start to repel money because you think that having money will damage your relationships with other people. This can also come from generational trauma with money, and I've seen this a lot, specifically in my community, Black people, where a lot of people won't trust the system because the system has previously failed them. So they'll do things like only carrying cash and not having a bank account at all, not applying for certain types of loans or grants, or not investing their money at all because they're very skeptical of what will come of it. So the chapter's book goes into really deep detail about how you can unravel these money beliefs and the questions that you can ask yourself to start to figure out what your money beliefs are so that you can get on the right track for your own personal financial wellness. This book is linked in my bio with many other books that I have linked for rich aunties or aspiring rich aunties. And if you want to hear more about money books or just money tips that I'm learning in my journey, hit that follow.
A lot of people think the first step in getting their life right financially is making a budget, and it's not. It's actually dealing with your financial trauma. In my money emails today, I sent out a message to all my subscribers, basically asking them if they've experienced any type of financial trauma before, and the response was overwhelming. A lot of people don't realize that their childhood is really why they look at money or view money the way that they do. But before I dive deep into that, I want to read off the definition of financial trauma just to make sure we're all on the same page. Financial trauma refers to the mental distress and emotional impact caused by experiencing or witnessing significant financial losses, instability, or hardship. It can result from various events such as bankruptcy, foreclosure, job loss, investment loss, or unexpected expense. I really want to end on some of the effects of financial trauma. It can also cause long-term financial repercussions such as damaged credit scores, difficulty obtaining loans, credit difficulties rebuilding savings, and retirement funds. It can also lead to anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, and other stress-related symptoms. With everything that I just read, it makes sense why so many people in the hood or in underprivileged areas are suffering like they are. They're dealing with financial.
Bro, financial trauma is so real. If you never heard about financial trauma is basically having money now, but being traumatized from being broke at one point. And you still got the mindset of somebody that's broke and poor. I'll use myself for example. So I'm getting more money now, but whenever I gotta spend bread, I'll hesitate, I'll get anxious, I'll start overthinking, and I gotta catch myself in the moment like, bruh, you're not what you were last year. You make money now. Money comes back to you. Like it's literally operating from a scarcity mindset, but that scarcity mindset comes from you being traumatized from being broke. Like you'll be in the store and you'll see something that costs $11, $8, and you'll think to yourself, bro, that's too much. I ain't spending that. But it's really not that much money. Like it's really not that much money, but you immediately saying that's too much money is a trauma response. Now it's one thing if you got a budget and that purchase breaks your budget, but that's most likely a trauma response from you being broke at one point in life. Or when you got to make a big purchase, like 100, 200, 300, a big purchase, feel me? You'll instantly think to yourself, I don't know when I'm gonna get that much money back. You do know. You're just thinking from who you used to be, and you don't think money comes to you as easily. Not having money in this world is literally mentally and emotionally traumatic. And if you're not aware of that shit, you will always keep recreating that same circumstance. Wall Street Trapper is the main person that talks about financial trauma. I suggest y'all tap in with him and follow for more.
You want to heal your money trauma so you can become a better steward and receive your financial overflow? Let's do this. The very first thing I want you to do is forgive. Yes, I said it. The very first step is to forgive. Forgiveness is the most important step to healing that money trauma. So take out your pen and paper and write who or what you have yet to forgive. What is stopping you? And are you willing to release this energy from your life? Forgiveness is for you, so you don't have to share these with anyone.